Alrighty. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well. We have some exciting updates for everyone. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. But let's go ahead and get started. So, again, for those who don't know, my name is Vando Counder, CEO of Liquid Agent, and today is our Spaces number 5, where we are going to be talking about updates for Q4 2024 and more stuff on Liquid Agent. So let's go ahead and get started. So, our tactical roadmap. The team has been cooking nonstop as we enter into Q4 of 2025 of this year, entering Q1 of 2026. We have made some amazing strides. For those who have not been looking and not as active, I did post this morning on our Telegram community chat, likewise on X, that I just finished a call with the NSSF, the National Social Security Fund of Uganda, which is a phenomenal talk. And with that call, that is the finalization of the integration with the National Social Security Fund, leading on to number 1, drum roll, USDO stablecoin release. Yes. So again, it's going to take some time, guys, but we're still working on it. I'm not sure if you guys saw the recent news with the STBL, the USST stablecoin with the previous co-founders of Tether, but they depegged. Is that due to the market liquidity loss? Is that due to stuff? We don't know. But again, it's still happening. It is still going to be going live, but it's all going to take time, guys. You got to be patient. Make sure everything's compliant. When Chris and I build stuff, we want to not rush anything. We want to make sure that, yes, nothing's new under the sun, but we want to be innovative and making sure that our products work. So USDO stablecoin release is going from pending to almost finalized. There's a few more tweaks, hopefully looking at the end of Q4, early Q1 of 2026. We already talked about number 2. Just some updates on that. Going to the NSSF in New Orleans, it was beautiful. Chris and I, we actually just finalized a institutional deal, which we will be doing a lot of things. I'm not sure if I want to give too much out for this one, but just be active in the community. But let's just say we will be live 100% with our partner SoonPay by November. We will be on ground in Uganda and Africa and beyond, and I'm super excited for that. We all know about Liquid Burn, that's doing stuff. SoonPay integration is almost finalized. Again, we just need to make sure that all the APIs and all the databases are connecting, and users will be able to use SoonPay for their remittance on board, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. Likewise, the number 5, validator setup, we already got that. Maybe some news for that. We'll see what's up. And again, the money transmission app, I know that we had said it would be out October of this month, but again, takes time. Make sure everything is good to go. Make sure everything's compliant, but making sure that, well, like I just said, all the database integrations and APIs are good to go. So we will be launching that next month in time for Q4 2024. Again, more integrations for number 8. And I know some of our users have been asking about number 9. What is number 9? Guys, you just have to chill. I promise you, it's going to be worth it. And last but not least, we completed our license certifications international. So that is a beautiful thing. But I just want to say, I want to thank you guys. And just to remember and to remind everyone before I bring up some phenomenal people on stage, Liquid Agent is the financial layer of Web3. How are we going to be doing this? We're going to be onboarding millions, hundreds of millions in people starting out in Africa. Uganda as our test pilot. Once one country follows, all follows. Already have partnerships with UAE, EU, Caribbean, Turk and Caicos, etc. The banking partnerships, we already have over 28 banks. Going to be onboarding hundreds of millions of users already. And then likewise, by doing that, utilizing the SoonPay integration, users will already have access to that, going straight directly to Liquid Agent in order to do liquid lending and a plethora of other things. But I have some exciting news for you guys. Today, you're not just going to be hearing from me. As much as I know you guys love to hear my voice, we're going to have two phenomenal people on the team to talk about what is next stages of now that liquidation is now live. What are some features, maybe some possible features, as well as some stuff. So I want to go ahead and bring on our CTO, Christopher Powell, and our PM, Tariq. How you doing, guys?
Yo, what's
Hey,
up,
how you
guys?
doing?
Good, good, good. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and step back. Go ahead and take it away and do your thing.
All right, cool. I
Cool,
appreciate
cool.
it. So, yeah, dude, let's get started. First, we're gonna start off with introductions. I'll start with myself and then go to Chris. Like you guys know, my name is Tariq Wasim. I'm the head PM at Liquid Agent, specializing in all things related to DeFi. And my background is in community building. I co-founded the Atlanta Blockchain Center, which is where Liquid Agent kind of came out of. And then before that, I worked deep within the DeFi industry, working for some prominent projects like Spectral AI, which is agentic an AI marketplace, as well as other stuff. So that's a little bit about me. I'm passing it off to you, Chris.
All right. So, hello, I am the CTO of Liquid Agent. And background about me. So, I've been in this space, blockchain space, for about 8 years. And I started with merely just learning about, holding and just different assets. Eventually got into nodes and node infrastructure in 2019, understood the complexities of running them, and as well as seeing how other companies were able to simply write out their documentation. Even back then, the documentation wasn't that good. So I used to just see how I can improve on other people's documentation. And essentially, that ended up landing me a job with a company called Go Plugin. They actually came into my direct messages on Twitter, and they wanted me to make um, node videos for their oracles. Go Plugin is an Oracle company, very similar to Chainlink. I helped them with that for about 2 years, and then after that, end up creating what's known as Project Pi Labs, and going into Liquid Agent. Um, as far as my actual technical background, I graduated from Georgia State University with my bachelor's in physics. So I do things a little bit different. I know a lot of my peers, they're more computer science heavy. I started with a background in physics. My research was in, funny enough, fluid dynamics. So I studied in a lot of like different concepts related to fluids, and um, then essentially just pivoted into the technology, but I was learning it at the same time. um, but yeah, that's a little bit of background about me.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Chris. So, today's Spaces is going to be focusing on something very special that we've been working on since going live end of last month.
Hmm.
Um, we're so excited to be talking about it, and you guys are too, based off of the questions we saw you drop in the Telegram. But before we get to that, I want to talk about how we've been doing over the last couple of weeks since we went public. So we debuted with liquid lending. That is the core feature of our product right now. And that enables users to deposit stables, USDC, and earn yield off of that. Um, in the background, Liquid Agent is going ahead and allocating your funds towards high performing pools that we've vetted, and it's making sure you achieve the best APY across the pools. So let's say, for example, pool A is yielding 7% and pool B is yielding 13%. First, it will deposit your money into pool B. But what if it changes? What if A becomes 13 and B becomes 7? It'll take your funds out for you and it will redeposit them elsewhere. So it takes away the complexity of you having to understand like how to navigate Morpho or you having to navigate Aave. The agent does that all for you. So we've been seeing some significant growth there. A lot of users have been getting really good feedback, and we couldn't be happier with it. And then off to the side, we have scheduled sending, contacts, so you can associate names with addresses. We also have schedule sends, pretty much ease of life. We want to make your life easy. Agents are here to do that, so we're going to bring it to you. So going into enough of that, that's put that in the past. So going on to the future, what we've been working on is, you've probably seen it thrown around the chat, 3 letters, LVN. What does that stand for? You know, Chris will take it away from here. So what is LVN, Chris?
Yeah. So LVN is short for Liquid Validator Network. And essentially, kind of actually, let me step back a little bit. Let me step back and just talk about Liquid Agent in itself a little bit. Liquid Agent, its whole purpose is to simplify Web3. Again, being in this space for 8 years, I've made so many different, like before making my business, I've made different like social media platforms and different channels to help my family and help other people to navigate in this space. And one thing that I've always seen or heard across the board is it's too complicated. It's too much. I I I, I shouldn't have to do all these different things. So and even after building our first product, Pi Pools, from Project Pi Labs, we we made it simple, but at the same time, it's still simple to the people that are already in Web3. Liquid Agent is gearing up for people that are still not in this space. There's still way more people that are on this planet that are not in Web3 and they're still using the traditional system. So Van and I, again, we're visionaries, we're not seeing what's right now. We're seeing 10 years, 20 years, 50 years into the future, and so we truly believe in the vision where one Liquid Agent will be able to solve some of these systems where it is still pretty complex right now. We want to make things much easier for people. And then we always talk about how there are so many different blockchains, but at the same time, yield in itself is going to be coming from different chains. That's where you get the interoperability piece. We truly believe that as long as a person is able to receive, let's say $10, they're going to get $10, whether it's from XRP or Ethereum or Base or AVAX or Aptos, or, the list goes on. As long as that person, like, we ask the question all the time, like, hey, at the Atlanta Blockchain Center, I asked the question to everyone, like, hey, do you know what pipes you have when you receive your hot and cold water? And most people say no. And I mean, that essentially, like, even myself, I don't know where my hot and cold water comes from, but I know that I'm satisfied when I can take a hot shower or I can drink cold water from the faucet. And I truly believe that that's where things are going to be headed. And I think that the AI piece is going to help facilitate that with blockchain. But essentially, Liquid Agent, Liquid Validator Network is going to be on Liquid Agent. And what it is it is a multi-chain, think of it as a multi-chain validator index. Think of it as where you have products like Lido, you have products like Pi Pools from us, you have different staking mechanisms that where you're able to earn yield on that respective network. And that's fine and all. But what if you wanted to, you got your yield and then you converted your yield? You're in charge of converting that yield, one, and two. Well, what if you like multiple chains? What if you wanted to receive yield, from multiple chains? And so it had me thinking of an idea, of first being able to distribute the yield from different chains. But then I thought about it and I'm like, it's already complicated enough to receive yield on, let's say, just one chain and having to convert that yield into something that you can actually use to purchase, goods and services. But being able to give yield on multiple chains, now that adds an extra layer of complexity. I mean, literally, if I was to give the ability of someone earning yield from different validators on different chains or delegators, um, it'll be the yield would come out, and then I would have the user would be responsible for converting, let's say AVAX into a stable coin, and then they have to convert, let's say Ethereum into a stable coin as well, and they then have to convert, um, the list goes on any proof of stake blockchain. They'll have to convert that yield into something where they can actually use it. Um, so then it had me thinking, well, what if I was to make it to where we have a system where the yield is coming in from different chains, but then at the same time, the yield is automatically converted into a stable coin directly. And so that had me thinking of how to like structure it and set it up. But it's essentially Liquid Validator Network is going to be, essentially it's a validator index or aggregator. It aggregates all of the yield from different blockchains that it's supporting, converts it into a stablecoin on USDC on Base, and then after it does the conversions, it distributes the rewards in a very fair manner. Right here, what we're looking at is one, again, I come from a physics background, so I like to write out a lot of the things, and I think of all the concepts for like distributions and stuff with some of these equations. But essentially, this is just the um, a possible reward distribution. All it's basically saying is the user that deposits or they stake Liquid, they will be receiving rewards based off of the time that they've staked, as well as the amount of Liquid they staked for, stake basically. So it's the time and then the amount that they stake. And so, you know, I had this idea of this for like the last month and a half or so. Um, I was just, again, I built out a liquid staking protocol, um, you know, for Pi pools. And I was just like, man, as much as cool as it is, and as much as people can like earn yield on that system, it's still pretty complex for people to want to pick up a computer and then be able to support a chain and earn yield, or if they want to even delegate a portion of their assets to earn yield. So then that's when I thought of, well, what if we made it to where Liquid was the basically the key component? So the actual token Liquid is the key component of existing blockchains for them to earn yield. So essentially, it would basically goes as follows. It in itself is, let's say I have, a certain amount of Liquid, I make a deposit, and from there, or rather, I make a stake. And then after staking the Liquid, let's say it's a timer of 14 days. which that's going to actually be the distribution. So every 14 days is going to be the distribution time. Um, I stake my liquid and the 14-day counter starts, the first cycle starts. Let's say that there's in the pool, there's like $1,000 in the pool. If let's say I'm the only one that's staking, then of course, then I'm going to be receiving majority, if not all of that. Um, if there's multiple people, then of course that's when the reward distribution has to come into effect. Now, that calculation that was presented on the screen is not taking into the effect of the liquid licenses. We've talked about it a little bit inside of the main chat for Liquid Agent, and it's actually inside of the beta right now. Essentially, what the liquid license is it is a way for individuals to take advantage of having the ability to receive a 2x multiplier on the rewards that come into the system. And this isn't just something that's like a year-long license. This is lifetime, as long as, of course, as long as Liquid Agent is still up and running and functional. Um, I'm making it to where there is only at the most 150 people to do it. But they're going to be coming out in different stages, different batches. The first batch is out, it's in the beta, and one person is already in. So there's 49 left in this batch. This license in itself, each one is going to be 3K. And reason being is, one, you're purchasing a license that give you the ability to earn 2x the amount of yield for life on our system. And not just that, you're earning yield. Well, there's some things that we'll be adding in. I will not be able to talk about it right now, but there's other perks that that license is going to give. Again, there's one person that actually has one. I'm thinking I've been discussing with them to have them test out the Liquid Validator Network. I'll be giving a demo on that actually tomorrow. And like a full-on demo, I'll present a little bit of like some of what's going on with it on this stream. I know that Tarek has a few questions. I know a few people in the Telegram had a few questions as well about it. But long story short, a person stakes the liquid. They have the liquid sitting for whatever amount of time. There's no stake fee. You can stake or unstake anytime you want with your liquid. And the beautiful thing is that I set this up to be majority. Like my goal with this was to make it to where it wasn't as complex as the liquid staking protocol, where there was like at least 18 to 20 different smart contracts that I had to actually go through each one of them. It's as simple, like with this system is much simpler. Simplicity is key. And again, the whole point of this is to onboard as many people as possible to make their lives easier for the next generation of, Web3 and, agentic systems with Web3, essentially. And so it'll be as simple as you have Liquid in your primary wallet. Every Liquid Agent account will come with their own agent wallet. You take your Liquid from your primary wallet or from wherever wallet, and you just simply deposit into your agent wallet. And then after you make that deposit, then you would click stake. Once you click stake, then you would be able to participate, as easy as that. Let's say 14 days later popped up, you're now earning whatever yield that's coming in from the different networks in the system. But again, the yield is going to be auto converted into a USDC on Base. Again, there's a strategic, I explain a little bit later as to why it'll do that. But there in the background, there are what I call workers that are agents that are going to be auto converting the yield into USDC on Base. And one of the workers is responsible for using Circle's CCTP, or cross chain transfer protocol. Essentially, it allows for stablecoin on other chains like USDC on other chains to be converted to a different chain. And so one of the workers is leveraging that. For the most part, if I had to say out of 10, as far as like full build, Liquid Validator Network is at a 9. I'm confident in as how it works and how it's being utilized as far as testing. But there's, of course, a few last minute things that I want to clean up and adjust as far as like some of the numbers. But other than that, um, I would like literally have someone test it out, which I will be shortly. Um, but that's essentially the Liquid Validator Network. A little piece of the, oh, I did forget one other part. So a portion of that yield that comes in from these validators, of course, is going to be converted into USDC on Base. But a portion of it is also going to be used to buy back Liquid and burn it. Liquid in itself, because it's technically would be like a ETF, this Liquid Validator Network is synonymous to Liquid Validator Index. Um, want to add on to the scarcity effect of Liquid itself. So that token is going to be constantly burned because of the continuous participation of individuals that are going to, participate in this. A portion of the, I know someone asked in the chat, where is the, how's the tax being distributed? How's the tax being used? A portion of the tax is going to also be used to, participate in more of the validators and delegators on different chains to amplify and boost Liquid Validator Network. And so I'm sure you probably see the flywheel effect with this is you have individuals that are participating in the network, and then from there, some of the yield buys back Liquid and then burns it, makes it much more scarce. More people want to participate. It becomes a little challenge, a little harder to buy Liquid on the market. That should increase the, again, the scarcity effect on the different exchanges, decentralized exchanges. And then from there, it just continues that effect to where now you have a token that is not only responsible for individuals being able to earn yield from different chains, different sources, but it also is providing a value because it is, again, the core responsibility of validators and these node infrastructure is to support the different chains to be able to keep these chains alive and active. I love that there's different chains that people go to and they have their favorite ones, but ultimately I do see a world where all these chains will be combined. These chains will be combined and used in tandem. So with that, I want Liquid to be able to facilitate that. I want Liquid, the token, to actually be able to uh, play a part in that multi-chain system, and also make it easier for people to be able to have access to their yield directly without having to worry about the complexities of converting to an asset, or if like on Friday when everything went down like terribly, everything would have been just auto converted to a stable right then and there, and then from there, if you want to, you can convert. Like it will be up to the user to be responsible for making that decision of converting back into that asset or other assets. So it's, again, all about simplicity, all about making it easy for users. And again, people want to help and they want to participate, but some people simply are still too intimidated to want to try out and either own a node or to validate or to delegate. Um, so I see this as a nice way of making it easier. But uh, Tarek, if you have some of the questions that you want to ask, go right ahead.
Yeah, appreciate Chris. Gave a great overview of, you pretty much covered everything on our agenda.
I'm I'm super excited about this. Like I said, I will say I've had dreams about Liquid Agent, but I've had within the last month, I've had so many dreams about the validator network simply because it's like I feel like um it completes the vision of what I've always wanted when when making a system. Like when I worked for Go Plugin, again, the Go Plugin is an Oracle system on the XDC network. They're synonymous to Chainlink. When I worked for them, I had, or rather, a little bit before I worked for them, I made a YouTube series that I think is still up on my YouTube channel. But I made a series for them, and the setting up their Oracle node was a daunting task. It took me it was a 6-part series. In total, it was about an hour and 50 minutes of recording just for people to understand how to build it up. Um, Granted, the Oracle networks are a little bit more complicated, in my opinion, than setting up like a validator network. Um, you have like if I remember some of the names, like the external initiators and external um, systems that you have to connect with the on-chain and off-chain data. Um, Again, daunting task. Not many people want to put up with that, and even still, not many people want to put up with setting up validators or delegating for that matter. Um, and so with that, I was like, okay, well, I have an interesting idea that I think that it could not only benefit hundreds, thousands, millions of people, but it also can, it could scale up to that, but it also would strengthen by proxy. Liquid would be strengthening multiple networks. So, you know, I thought about it. It was just like, let me build it out.
Sweet. All right, so I think we are now ready to move on to the questions. So you guys submitted questions in our Telegram, and you can also submit questions live on this call. But let me go through some of the ones. Some of them you've already answered, but let me choose what we haven't. So, let's see. What makes LVN unique? Kind of already answered that. What will drive LVN adoption? Question for you, Chris.
Okay. So what will drive LVN's adoption, in my opinion, is of course the being able to push that out there. So of course there's going to have to be a marketing push, but I think naturally, I think that there is going to be a lot of individuals that, again, they may want to support different networks, but again, it's just too intimidating, certain things that they have to do, even setting up different nodes. They may not want to participate and do something like that. um, i I think that that's, from a actual consumer standpoint, I think it would make it much easier for an individual to just simply be able to take a token like Liquid and then just simply stake it, and now they're generating additional revenue just by doing that. But behind the scenes, again, by proxy, when they're actually staking it, they are helping contribute to a multitude of different chains, either delegating or validating, which in turn, you're helping with those different ecosystems staying alive and active. Again, a validator, you're simply like that the type of node, you're simply validating the transactions. You're making sure that the transactions are coming in properly, and the transactions make sense. They are not phony transactions that are coming in on chain. As well as, again, the whole premise of node infrastructure is to on blockchain at least, is to keep blockchains running effective, keep blockchains running efficiently. Um, you know, I used to give this analogy back in 2023, where, if I can remember it, it was the blockchain is like the brain, and the network is like your nervous system, all your nerves and your nerve endings. The nodes would be like your like neurons or node cells or nerve cells. Um, when you touch a hot pot, those nerve cells are sending signals, all traveling throughout your network, throughout all of your nerve endings, and then it sends signals to your brain to tell you to move your hand off the pot quickly. Without the nerve cells, without those neurons, your hand, you could just keep your hand there, and your brain would have a hard time telling you, like, hey, you're burning your hand. You're going to get third, second degree burns, first degree burns if you keep your hand on this pot. The same thing for blockchains. You want to have a decent amount of nodes, decent amount of validators, um, and so that technology is often, in my opinion, slept on, because you're helping to contribute to the chain, but you're also getting rewarded via inflation of the actual blockchain itself. And it's very powerful. It's very, it's continuous yield as long as the blockchain is running and everything, there's constant activity on this chain or chains. And so I think that what's going to drive it forward is, of course, just more education on the actual technology itself. Now, as far as, like, let's say, institutions or whatnot, like, investment firms. I see this being something that would be very simple for an investment firm to get. It's like being able to say that your token is like an ETF, and it essentially is like a the system is like a basket of assets. Like, you have a basket of assets that's all just being auto converted into a stable asset. I think that they would get that pretty fast. I think that, you know, uh, you know, investment firm or family firm, they would understand, like, hey, I can earn honest yield by simply being able to just stake one asset, and I'm continuously earning revenue over time. Um, but those are just my opinions. I think that, there'd be more to it. The education piece is for sure going to be that driving force.
Cool. Appreciate that response. Let's move on to the next question. So I can take this one. Any big players already interested on LVN? So kind of going off what Chris said, yeah, we could imagine some funds being interested in this to get exposed to multiple chains, multiple sources of yield in one central place. We can also see, when it comes to big players, who would want to work with us. So since we're targeting validator infrastructure, any up and coming chain that is looking for people to validate will approach us, and we will approach them. They'll approach us in the way of, let's say, grants. Companies issue grants all the time to bring builders over. So we could potentially take part in a grant on a new upcoming chain. There's also existing chains that have a lack of validators. Um, and then there's chains that offer very good yield. So those are kind of big players that we're pursuing, and then the big players that will attract. like chains themselves. Next question is, what goals are Liquid targeting for LVN? So I would say the first goal, what we're preparing before we debut, is what chains will we first integrate? Like, what chains will we support? What chains will we be earning yield off of in the start? We're targeting 3 networks. I'm not going to say exactly like which ones they are, but we'll let you guys figure that out. And then as far as the bigger picture, so to kind of bring it all together, we as an organization are basically trying to create like a fleet of validators under our like that we operate. And this fleet of validators will be multi-chain, and it'll bring real yield back to our users. And so if you have liquid tokens, if you're an investor, you will get a share of this yield by staking. And then we will also use that to generate, our revenue. So that's kind of like, that's pretty much the recap of LVN. We have another question. Will that liquid token be paired on base? Right now, it's on the roadmap, but it's not something we're pursuing right now. And then somebody asked, will there be support for internet money wallet? I don't understand that question, so I'm going to skip it. But I mean, platform naturally supports Rabi, MetaMask, Wallet Connect. So there's that. There's no more questions, so I think we can wrap it up. So before we leave, I'm going to be talking about, Chris, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at. I thought I saw a few more questions inside of the actual main chat. I just want to, I want to cover everyone because, some lagging questions that might come in. Um, okay, let's see. How does the team intend to attract potential customers to their product? Well, one of the things that actually, funny enough, uh, Tarek had called me early in the morning, like kind of like right when I was like getting out of bed. And well, yeah, I'll talk about this first and then I'll get to that question. I had another idea of how it all ties in, Liquid Validator Network in itself, because it will be rewarding users on basically earning yield in USDC on base. Um, that ties directly into liquid lending. Users will be earning their yield that would directly go to their agent wallet in USDC on base. And then that ties right into liquid lending for people to earn more yield on top of the yield that they already earned. So it in itself, we're building an ecosystem that makes it much easier for individuals to be able to participate in the suite of services that we do provide. But just to go back to that question, you know, it's again, it's just going to have to come from marketing. Of course, it's always going to be the big thing, um, as well as going to more events. Van and I, we go to a lot of events in person. Have people try out our demos. I'm literally going to an event tomorrow. It's actually the main event is a pitch competition, but we have a booth where we'll be able to, showcase Liquid Agent, have people on board, tell us what they think, what they like, what they don't like. And so it really comes down to just the marketing and getting the word out there, letting people see what we have, and going from there. Let me see if there was any other. Let's see. Is there a plan for a tax reduction soon? This could attract wells. I would think that there would be eventually a reduction on tax. My vision would be, again, a portion of the tax would be going into the validator network itself. And that in itself would create a consistent loop of where there's more yield that's being generated in the system, as well as more liquid that can be bought and burned, and again, making liquid much more scarce. Of course, we want everyone to be able to participate, but I see this system being something where it can not only benefit the individuals that are staking, um, but also, of course, the token holders, speculators, anyone that is holding the token. But if you're staking, then you're technically holding the token. So if that token, of course, is being burned, then even while you're staking, that increases the price of the token liquid in itself, as well as the you're still earning yield on top of that by staking. But to really back in on your question, I'm not sure as to how soon, but I can say that it would definitely eventually decrease. Again, the team has been in discussion on making that decrease, but a portion of that would be going into the Liquid Validator Network. All right, let's see. What are your marketing plans for the near future? So I can say, at least because me personally, again, I'm part of the technological team, research and development. I'm the CTO, so I deal more with the tech. But for marketing, I suppose on my end is, again, going to different events, showcasing the product, being able to onboard individuals. I've been in discussion with one of my older buddies from 2020 to have him possibly on board to talk more on social media, get our presence more out there on social media. He's very good at that. But ultimately, everything comes down to marketing, but I do want it to be to where this product in itself would be used not just by us and other people as far as the users, but also via partnerships, because that's going to be very important. We're in talks with a few companies that potentially could get not only liquid lending integrated, but I could also see Liquid Validator Network integrated to some extent. Let me see. Let's see. This could help with raising the project's volume. Yeah, I mean, essentially, again, that the loop in which what I'll do too is I'll add in the in the main group, I'll add in the PDF that I created. I definitely would want more people to see it. So if you want to, you can share it to other people or whatnot, or what we're doing. But essentially, it breaks down what I talked about and what I discussed. It's about 6 pages, 7 pages. I broke it down as merely like like as if I was pitching to an investor, but essentially just want to make it as simple and easy as possible. But yeah, I see it as a way to also help with raising the project's volume. All right. Buy and burn. Let's see. Yeah, that essentially is the all the questions. Now, what I can do is because I'll be presenting this tomorrow. I guess I can I showed a demo, a small sneak peek in the main chat of the Liquid Validator Network. I can show another sneak peek, but actually going a little bit further in. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right, so, okay, let me know if you all see this piece here. All right, should be able to see it. Essentially, I have the Liquid Validator Network, and then I have the actual, basically an administrative page. But let's say that right now there's USDs to distribute. I can, let's say, start the time. Well, actually, let me update this. We'll do 5 minutes, and I'll just update the time. And so from there, I update the time. When this is live, it'll be 14 days. But for, testing and whatnot, 5 minutes. Start the timer. And so from there, we're now, going through this cycle here. And so from there, let me actually refresh the page. We'll go to staking, kind of see like how some of this stuff works. Let's see, we're on cycle 1. If I refresh this page here, then you should see that cycle 1 has started. It's about 8%. So I would need to first send some liquid to my agent wallet. Let me actually sign this real quick and confirm it. And so from there, I'll be sending it to my agent wallet. And then after sending it, I know it takes some time because Liquid, Liquid is on ETH, but that's not, it's not a big deal. Let's see. So from there, let me refresh the page. Okay. What I'll do is I'll send a little bit more. Okay, never mind. It actually it caught it. Again, still a work in progress, but essentially it caught the amount. Still working out the last final details on how much you're going to have to stake as far as a minimum. And then I know someone asked the question if there is a maximum. It basically would be however much liquid you can stake. I mean, that's on you, how much liquid you want to buy. But I'll get those final details by tomorrow as far as how much minimum you would need. But from there, I can simply click stake, or I should be able to click stake. If it'll let me do it. And if it doesn't, it's fine. What I can do is I can record the video inside of the and put in the main chat essentially. But essentially, let me do this. Let me try sending a little bit more into my wallet real quick. Okay, yeah. So now it's green. So let me click stake. And so from there, here we go. I suppose, yeah, again, work in progress, still some things that I want to clean up. But now you're on the staking page. So now we're staking. We have in the 5-minute length, we only have 1 minute and 30 something seconds. But from there, it shows the amount staked. It shows the total amount on the rewards pool. And this is actually live actual USDC on base. And so from there, you can see the active. So on the screen, you'll see active, how long you have been actively staking for. That will update over time. You'll see the timer that actually is going to continue to go on from there. Of course, you can stake more. And then you saw I now earned a little bit of rewards. It did pop up. So the cycle length, again, on the main Liquid Validator Network will be 14-day reward distributions. For this example, I just, of course, want to show 5 minutes. I can unstake anytime I want to. So let's say I I don't know, emergency hit, I need my money, I'm unstaked. So now from there, I'm good to go. And let's say, I don't know, you pop back up, you want to go back in and stake again. Well, now it picks off where you left off, or it picks up where you left off. So from there, I have the $6.46 USDC. And then you can see, like, of course, like the distribution history, which should populate um, when the time is up. So distribution is ready, go from there. And then, you know, do the distribution. After distribution, um, the next cycle will start. So that is a nice sneak peek into how the system will work. Again, still working on this. The last remaining piece, of course, is that last, small little bug in the beginning when you're actually staking. Nothing too crazy, but other than that, that's simply it. So let me stop sharing screen. And that's actually what I'm going to be presenting at the expo tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Well, as you can see, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining today's stream. Just to kind of give a brief recap and overview. We are Q4. Things are moving along very quickly. The whole team will be out in Uganda mid-November to officially launch SoonPay with the Liquid Agent integration, as long as with our partners, NSSF, and a bunch of other partners we cannot disclose yet. But once the app is out and live and people are utilizing it, that will be phase one. Again, with Liquid Agent, when people are utilizing this remittance platform, it is not just a remittance platform, it's saving as a purpose. So as each individual is sending and receiving the money, they're actually getting an account to show that all the Ugandans, as a pilot program, that their savings. In the meeting we had this morning is very interesting. They said 90% of Ugandans are, I forgot what the lady said, but they're essentially not working via the government to use that system. They're entrepreneurs, economy workers, influencers, and the thing that they had live is 5% of their base salary is going into the NSSF savings account, a total of 15%, and their match of 10%. But as again, the flywheel effect that Chris was alluding to, it's going to be amazing because now with the flywheel effect we have with staking the Liquid Validator Network, but once SoonPay is out, we now have more onboarding, more users, more liquidity, getting more people to save for a purpose because they're actually going to be using that for their health insurance, etc. Then onboarding them into crypto, utilizing Liquid Agent for liquid lending, and then again using the LVN, the Liquid Validator Network, and then that's how phase one will go. And then phase two, as we progress, we'll go ahead and do the stablecoin, the USDL or LUSD, and time, it's going to be very big. Let's just put it that way. We're showing that this product that we've built is going to be monumental. And once we have the systems and processes down, we can then replicate this in many different markets. And it's going to be beautiful. So yes, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining today's stream. Have a good rest of your day. Please feel free to join our Telegram. And you can follow us on all social media platforms at Liquid Agent AI. And if you have questions, please feel free to drop a DM, message us on Telegram. We're here. Alrighty, guys, you have a good rest of your day, and signing off.